Guys, we are in Chicago. We are at the Concord Music Hall. I got John from Skillet here. Matt, how you doing?
Awesome. What's up?
What's going on?
This is a cool place.
I love it. I've never been here. And
Me neither.
I'm in love with it. I wanted to. McCrae's going to be here in a couple weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I want to come check it out.
It's a cool place. I just
Yeah.
got here for the first time. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, me too. Last time we talked, you were getting ready for the tour. First headline tour you guys have done in 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
Since 2011.
That's right. Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, at least in the United States.
Yeah.
So, now that you've had some time to get some dates under your belt, how has this headline tour been compared to previous headline tours in the States?
Oh man, it's been awesome. I've had such a good time. I've already been on the, we've only done 4 shows, last weekend. On the phone with my manager, like, finally we're doing it. We need to do this again next year.
Yeah.
We're really having a great time.
Awesome.
And how compared to previous? It's hard to say. I mean, there's some similarities because when you do your own headline show, the idea is that people come to see you play,
Right.
and they hopefully know all the songs, and there's that excitement. So, I would say there's a real excitement now that feels up
Okay.
than it has in the last few years, and that's probably conglomeration of a bunch of different reasons. But people are really having a good time singing the songs. It's been awesome.
Awesome. Is usually last couple of years when you've done headline runs here in the States, it's been Winter Jam or the Road Show.
Yeah.
You did a small headline tour in between the Road Show and another one a couple of years ago.
With Third Day.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Obviously you get more songs in when you do a full-on headline run.
Yeah.
But what is it like going from a headline run where you do 6 to 8 songs as opposed to 18, 19 songs?
Yeah. It's just they're all really good. I like I've been telling people, I've enjoyed all the touring we did. The Third Day run was really fun. That was kind of a co-bill.
Yeah.
We did on the mainstream side. We did a lot of opening gigs, but they were more event touring. But us and 4 other bands. But we opened up for
Uproar a few years ago.
Uproar, yeah, Godsmack and Shinedown, and people. I like all of it, but it's nothing like doing your own headlining run, especially in clubs like this.
Yeah.
We've been selling out smaller venues, and you can see all the people singing. It's different. It's hard unless you're going to sell out arenas now.
Right.
Selling out arenas sounds really fun.
Yeah.
But unless you really have 4, 5, 6, 7,000 people, it's really hard to play arenas.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like doing these. These feel cool to me. You get to see everybody's face singing the song. I love it.
Up close.
Yeah, and you get to play, like you say, deeper cuts.
Yeah.
You get to play songs that maybe it wasn't the hit, but it was a fan favorite.
Right.
And since I'm such a fan of music, when I go see a band play, I'm like them. Like, I love the radio songs, but
Right.
I really hope they play that track 8 on their 3rd record. And
Right.
and they do sometimes.
Right.
U2 is a band like that.
Yeah.
They'll play the hits, but they'll play some weird cuts.
AC/DC's been doing that on this tour. I
Oh,
think.
yeah?
Yeah. I can't remember which songs. They've been doing some deep stuff.
Yeah. Of course, they have like 50 hits. So
Yeah.
their deep stuff was only a top 10.
Right?
Yeah.
What are some of those songs for you guys on this run? I mean, I know Comatose is a fan favorite, especially mine. Especially on like a Winter Jam, you might not get to play a song
That's
like
actually a
that.
perfect example. The song Comatose.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was as big of a song as it was.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't know until a few years ago.
Okay.
And because it was not necessarily a huge radio song,
Right.
I knew Rebirthing was a big radio song. The Last Night from that record I'm talking about. And
Whispers in the Dark was
Whispers in the Dark, yeah. And Comatose, I didn't realize till we went overseas.
Okay.
And because we were doing headline shows overseas and not here. And we started dun 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 da da da, and people were going berserk. I was like, well, they really like Comatose here. And so I found out, no, that's American too. I didn't know it was a fan favorite.
Okay.
So I think that this stuff gets you, these tours get you more in touch with the true fan than doing other tours we mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. new album's been out for about 2 months now, a month and a half or so. Came out in
Yeah,
August.
6 weeks about. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I took a sneak peek at the set list on the Setlist FM website, and it looks like you're doing about 6 songs per month each. How are the songs going over live, or is there some of the songs maybe like Out of Hell that's going over extremely well?
Right.
Has there been any surprises on this tour?
Surprises came before the tour.
Okay.
Because when you're releasing a record, you know, you have no idea. And I kept trying to write a set list because we had to rehearse for the tour.
Right.
But I still had this, like, I don't know what songs people are going to like, you know. And, of course, Feel Invincible's the single.
Yeah.
You have to play it.
Right now.
Yeah, it's getting so much play, sports.
Yeah.
Every major sport in America is playing the song right now, which is beautiful. Anyway, I was putting things together. The big surprise happened to me when the fans loved The Resistance. It's the last song on the record.
Yeah.
And that was the one I saw the most fan hype for.
Okay.
And I was really excited about it because that's a song that was not going to be recorded on the record. You know?
Really?
Yeah, it was a song that to me sounds very much like Skillet. It's very much us. And I think sometimes when you're making records, I'm not trying to blame other people. I'm not trying to put the blame on people, but it is true. When you have your team of people, whether that's the band, the producer,
label,
A&R guy, the label themselves, marketing, everybody, sometimes they can just kind of get used to what you do, and so sometimes there can be a little bit of a, that just sounds really like old Skillet. Don't put that on the record, you know. Yeah, they always want something new, and I always think they're wrong about that, you know. So we did put songs on this record that to me sound very Skillet.
Definitely.
I Want to Live is a song like that.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. That almost didn't make that only won the record because I gave them fire and fury on that one. I had to take them to the mat. And just to prove my point, I put it really up on the rest, like track 4 too, just to teach them a lesson.
Remember when I heard it, I'm like, all right, Feel Invincible, that one's awesome. I'm like, back from the days often that I got to I Want to Live, I'm like, oh, yes.
That one sounds like Skillet.
It does.
Well, there you go. So Resistance was a song that is very much identified with. It's very us, and the fans really liked it. And I wasn't planning on playing, so we had to learn it. It was like we had 3 days before the tour that we have to learn it because it's clearly the fan.
Definitely.
It's kind of a fan favorite. You gotta make the fans happy.
Yeah, especially that jam session at the end of the song. I remember hearing, I'm like, that would work really well to end a show.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's what you guys are doing. Are you ending with that one?
Yeah, we are. And the whole thing's really funny. Want me to tell you?
I want you to tell me.
It's a pretty funny story. The reason the jam session exists is on the album. For people that don't know, the song ends, there's about a 2-measure break, and then the song comes in with this. It's just like prog metal heaven, right? And I did that because I was really annoyed that my label didn't want the song on the record. And they're always complaining. Some people are always complaining, well, it's too this, or it's too metal, or it's got all this guitar stuff. It's this. And so I was like, you know what? They're not going to know until it's done, you know. It's not like they're in the studio.
Right.
I'm going to record this, and it's going to be just for me. And so we recorded it, and so it's ended up, we were ending the show with it. Also, just for me to feel a little better about myself.
That's awesome. I'm in love with that song. I'm like, I think I listened to it twice on the way here, and I'm like, it's awesome.
Cool.
I can't wait.
Nice.
You guys are on the road with House of Krutch right now.
Yeah.
They're almost done on this. Like, they got 2 shows left.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys kind of came up together in a lot of ways. You guys started around the same time. You guys kind of got a second wing, kind of like a second leg to the career. Around the same time as well.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's it been like being out with a band like that where you have so much history together? You guys know each other so well and kind of connecting careers.
Yeah. You know, it is funny you say that because it wasn't a band that we've spent a lot of time with except for the times we've toured together, which were important times. When Comatose came out, we did a tour together, and it was an awesome tour. It was really fun. And we've kept in touch since then. You know, we've got a great relationship. I am a fan. I like TFK in general, beyond knowing them. I like the music and the songs. They're a great live band. Trevor, the singer, Trevor's a rock star. So it was every time we are like, it's gonna be a tour. Who do you think on a tour? Then was it TFK? It's like the one that's on mine. TFK. It went really good back then. I bet it'd go really good again.
Oh yeah.
And I think that we have similar fan base in a lot of ways. I don't think we necessarily have the exact same fan base, but it's similar. Certainly a similar diehard passion. Their fans are very like TFK Army.
Yeah.
And I noticed that on social media. I noticed people saying that they'll tweet me and Trevor, and I see the passion, and you see it at the shows. So it's a very cool band to connect with and play with.
Awesome. You guys both have fairly new albums too. Theirs came out a couple months before yours.
That's right.
But I just feel like there's certain bands that when you think of like Skillet, you think of certain bands. You think of like TFK, Disciple, Red. Certain bands that just go so well together.
Sure.
But with this tour, now that you're 10 albums in now, are there any songs that you miss playing live?
That I miss playing.
That you miss playing live that there's just not room for anymore.
Not room for?
I wish we could go back and play that. Like for me, I'd love to see you guys play Locked in a Cage.
Oh, yes.
Or Best Kept Secret. I never got to see it.
You're talking about old school
Skillet songs.
Truthfully, Locked in a Cage is one of my favorite Skillet songs of all time. And I would like to be playing it, except that there's not very many people like you that know the old school stuff. And in fact, I rewrote Locked in a Cage for this record, and we didn't make the record.
Really?
But I really want to see it on a Skillet record again in the future.
Yeah.
Because I think it has a lot of life in it.
Okay.
I think people didn't really ever hear it. A lot of people, So that would be cool. There's some songs on Collide that I really love playing. We were playing Forsaken, and it had to go off the set list because there's too many songs now.
Yeah.
This is our first tour we've ever done, headline tour, where we've never played Better Than Drugs from Comatose, which was kind of a John favorite from that record. That was, to me, I don't know why, one of the most meaningful songs on that album.
You guys were playing Savior a lot, too.
Playing Savior, yeah. So sometimes you have to let them go.
True.
But you can revive them later.
There we go.
You can bring them back out.
I'd love to hear that revamped Lock in a Cage somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
But it's 20 years of Skillet this year. 1996 to 2016.
Woo!
20 years. Looking back at the beginning.
Yeah.
Self-titled record 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What stands out to you about that period in time for Skillet?
Oh, gosh. First thing that you have to mention, and a lot of these people listening are probably they're gonna be scratching their heads here, but first thing you have to mention is that nobody really knew the internet in 1996.
True.
I mean, I guess it was around, but it was a very few people that knew.
There was no social media.
Oh, absolutely zero social media. I personally never heard of the internet when our band came out. Yeah, in '96. Even when I kind of learned even when we had a website in '96 and '97, we were meeting fans that found us on the website, but I was still not really sure what it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just when you didn't grow up in it, it was hard to wrap your head around it if you're not a computer guy. So the first thing that has to be mentioned is you used to only be able to hear music from record stores and radio.
Or samplers.
Samplers were a big thing, we're giving samplers out like candy, because you needed people to hear of you. And if you didn't have a radio hit, then people would never hear of you. So Skillet, we created our base by touring. And once music started really getting out on the internet, Skillet began to make some big strides. And I think that's the reason Comatose got so big. It was internet based mainly at first.
Definitely.
So that was a really cool thing for us. '96, other things that what would it look like? Rock music was huge in the '90s.
It was. Christian music was completely different.
Oh yes, there was some fantastic Christian rock music in the '90s. Really, really good bands, and honestly, comparable to anything happening in the mainstream rock market. There was Christian music that was really good
and underrated.
Way underrated, absolutely, because people had never heard of it. So it was a great market. It was a great time to be playing rock music in general because rock music was popular. It was pop music, if you will. So that was really cool. And we weren't scaring as many people then. In the Christian market, we were still scaring folks, though. But in general, you weren't scaring people just because you're a rock. But that was a cool time. And but even then, I always wanted to be more than just Christian rock band. I wanted to be a band that sang music to all kinds of different people, not just Christian people. I always believe evangelism is what always got me going. You know, getting the message out there and being a light in the world. And I never knew that it would be difficult to get over to secular music if you were a Christian band.
Yeah.
And that proved to be very difficult in the late 90s for us. It finally happened in 2003. So that's why when you come to a Skillet show like tonight, you're going to see 8-year-old kids.
Yeah.
You're going to see 60-year-old dudes and grandparents and parents with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see there'll be a lot of people drinking here, a lot of biker dudes, a lot of rock chicks, and then you're going to see a lot of Christian people coming out, Christian kids, religious people. All sorts, and I personally love having that mix of all these different people because music brings people together, and if you're not bringing other people outside the church in, then you really are not reaching the lost with your music.
Right.
So maybe just as buttoning the end of that statement up, I love Christian music, and I think that there's I think it's a really great calling to just play Christian music to Christian people. And I grew up on bands like that, and I really believe in it. But I've always felt my calling was to be going outside the church. So that's why I like seeing this so much. So those are some of the big things that have changed in 20 years. I love seeing all these people out here get to hear the message, you know.
Awesome. And you mentioned evangelism. I'm going to wrap up with this weekend, Louder Than Life. You guys are playing on Sunday at the festival.
Yeah.
With some awesome bands. You can play Slipknot, Korn. All you guys are going to be there.
Disturbed. Great lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. What are you looking forward to when it comes to the festivals and all of that? You mentioned evagelism, and it's a perfect opportunity to do that.
You know, I love doing mainstream gigs, you know, and we've toured with Corey Taylor from Slipknot, you know, with Stone Sour, and we tour with a lot of these bands. Honestly, I just really love it because I feel very comfortable in the rock world because I love rock music and I belong there, you know. And I feel very comfortable with people who are not Christians and don't see eye to eye with me at all. I enjoy being around those kind of people, just being myself and let them be themselves. The thing that I enjoy the most, some people might not get this, but the thing I enjoy the most is just being able to show someone else that we don't have to be on the same page for us to hang out and have a great time together and have a meal together. You know, my kids will be there. You know, my kids will, you know, have dinner with Slipknot. You know, and it doesn't matter that we are all on different pages, and they get a chance to see that. They know I'm a Christian. They know Skillet's a Christian band.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Christian, but he's not making me feel bad about who I am.
Right.
And we end up having great talks. And there have been people, and I won't say their names on here, but there are people that are known followers of Christ now from that world that we've toured with. You know, singers in secular bands that have gotten saved. And I'm not saying it's because of Skillet, but we're one along. You know, God brings people along.
Yeah.
You know, like Billy Graham said, the average person hears the gospel 7 times before making a conversion to Christ.
Right.
Maybe we're number 1, maybe we're number 7, maybe we're number 15, but it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. And I think it's an encouragement. I hope to people listening, no matter what you do for your job or your school or whatever you do for in your life, that everywhere you go, you're called to be a light, and you might be number 1 or number 7, it doesn't matter. You're called to be there and love people and love them the way Jesus would love them, hang out, have a good time, be an influence, and that's what I look forward to the most.
Awesome. Man, thank you so much for taking time today, or tonight.
It was great chatting with you, and then we're going to do some rock and roll here.
Looking forward to it. I cannot wait. Man, we'll see you again on Sunday at Louder Than Life. I will be there.
Good. I'll check it out, man.
Thanks a lot.